Well, it's been another flying start to a championship season with Southend United, and since you were last with me, we have brought in all three of the players we teased in the last episode. We've also had one more experienced addition too. We're flying high at the top of the league come deadline day, and now it's just whether we get any big offers for our stars before we face West Ham before the international break. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 42 of Saving Southend with me, Daniel. We are back today to see the closing of the transfer window as it's deadline day in the Championship. We also face West Ham United, and unlike I said in my introduction, it's not the final game before the international break because I've just noticed it's moved to late September in this save. However, as you can see from the table, we are flying high at the start. We've just had a disappointing result in the Cup though, and we have had one defeat in the league when we've played against a former Premier League side. So if you're looking forward to seeing if that's made two today, or whether we can continue to roll on, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. It's going to be a very interesting season because this squad is starting to look pretty tasty, and the star players we've brought in are starting to get fit. We're going to start by looking through what's happened so far, get through deadline day, and then it will be all attention to West Ham. So let's start by having a look at what might be done today and what has been done so far in the last month. We start with the deals that have been completed since you were last here. We've managed to get all three deals over the line that were in progress during the last episode, and also added the one player I said I really wanted in as well. So 4 big additions to strengthen the squad and add a bit of versatility too. And as a result of that, we say goodbye to a few club legends, albeit at the moment only temporarily. So we spent all of our summer transfer budget on Anselm from Swindon Town. He comes in for $500,000, but you'll remember for the last episode, a 19-year-old model citizen, it's worth its weight in gold. He's already got 2 assists and a goal across all competitions. He's already improving in training. He's going to be a superstar for this club. And even if not, if we can get him to the level where he's a squad player, he'll be a great mentoring lead, and that's something, as we talked about in last week's special, that can be incredibly important for our youth intakes of the future. The second one is a lone player from Southampton. Josh Craven has also popped up with a goal already in his time here. He is a player we had on loan a couple of years ago, wasn't really good enough then, now he certainly is. He's going to come in and be one of 2 right backs at the club, gives us versatility on the left and as a wing back when we need to switch to the 3. Just a really good player, and at 20, a very good one for us to have. The star of the show, though, I hope, will be Andre Santos. Not really hit the ground yet, but this is the first game where he's approaching match sharpness. He's a 24-year-old Brazilian international. Yes, he's made a cap for Brazil's senior team. He's the top paid player at the club. He's the top rated player at the club. And as we get through the next month or two and he gets fit, I think he's going to have a real impact on our season. We'll wait and see if I'm right. The final one is Solly March, a name that needs no introduction. He has just picked up an injury, but he's not really here so much for his on-the-pitch action. Of course, he's a great sub to have because he can play virtually every position, and when we do have to switch to wing-backs, he'll be helpful. But I've mainly got him here for experience and professionalism in the dressing room, and to have him for this season on a 1-year deal, I'm absolutely thrilled about. So they're the 4 people that have come into the club. It has meant that 3 senior players have left the club. First is Alistair Smith, who went out on loan last season and he's gone out again. Same club in Wrexham, where I'm sure he'll do well. A really decent player, but at championship level, he's not quite the quality. And then the 2 legends that have moved on, Will Ferry to Peterborough. Again, did feature a little bit this year in the Cup, but unfortunately, he's not quite good enough now. He's playing in League 2 for Posh, and I'm sure he'll be a star. But what a servant he's been for us. 3 promotions, nearly 150 league games. Just the fact he even signed for us in the National League's a miracle. And now I wish him the best for the future because he's probably played his last game here. And the same, I'm afraid, goes for Sonny Hilton, who we saw on the opening day in the last episode, made his impact, got an assist off the bench. He has featured in that game. He did play in a couple of cup ones, but now he's gone to Kilmarnock. He's playing in the Scottish Prem, and hopefully he has a good season up there. Who knows, we might even need to recall him in January. And then one of the youngsters, one of the better ones, Conley Lawrence Wolfenden. He's gone to Alloa in Scottish League 1, but he just needs football at this point. So they're all the deals that have been done. Quite a lot of rotation in the squad. I don't expect there to be much today, and certainly not a lot affecting the first 11, but we have got a few deals on the go. So the first one is Alex Williams now. Because of Josh Craven joining, we probably don't need him as third choice right back. He has got potential and he's still young, so I'm loaning him out to Lincoln, who got relegated last year. They're in League One, and if he can go and do well there, he's already done well for us. He scored a goal this season. Then maybe he can come back and be a championship player. Who knows? Because Craven's only here for a year. We've also got a couple of deals potentially in, but as you can see from the budgets at the top, we need Williams off the wage bill for it to get done. Harry Lynch is the first man from Glenarvan. He's a 22-year-old centre-half from Glenarvan who's not that good, but he's got incredible potential. So we've agreed a deal to then go and loan him back, and hopefully he'll keep developing. We'll wait and see. The other one that our director of football has made a bid for is James Hughes. I'm tempted to bring him in because he's a loan player from Southampton. They've agreed a deal for about 30% of his wages, and while he's not that good, I look at him and think he's quick, he's got flair, and he can play out wide, cross and dribble. I mean, just as a squad player, he might be useful to have. Played really well in his EFL trophy game for them and might well be important for us. So that's all I would expect on deadline day. We have still got a couple of outstanding issues in the squad though. John Rose, we're trying to get a new deal tied up so we can loan him out. We've also got problems with Tyler Goodrum, who Stoke have made a couple of bids for. Alex Williams, we know may be going. Brooking is wanted, but I don't think we're letting him go. And then the big issues, Jayden Dan's out of contracts at the end of the year. Will someone come in for him? Will we lose him for free? 6 months ago, we almost got 11.5 million. It will be gutting if we lose him for nothing. And then the second one is the unhappiness of Jarell Quansah, which so far has not affected his performances, but we're going to keep an eye on it and just see if there's any further issues today. So with 15 hours to go, deadline day has arrived. We're going to go and take part in the day. We've been linked with a QPR player for 3 million, who obviously we won't be signing because we've got no transfer budget. Goodrum, you can see they're linked with Stoke. Williams on the way out and a couple potentially in. But a quiet deadline day is expected. We're being linked with Reece Burke, a former Luton player who's on the transfer list, but we're not going to sign any more centre-halves now. So let's go and take part in the day and hopefully find ourselves a superstar. 15 hours remaining and see how we get on. Will there be any additions or departures from Southend? Right then, we're only an hour in, but I can see we've got a loan offer made by our director of football for Tyreek George of Wolverhampton Wanderers. He's an attacking midfielder who was runner-up for Chelsea's 18s in the UEFA Youth League a couple of years ago. He looks like a bit of a gem, doesn't he? Let's see what he's like. Oh, 3.5-star ability. He's probably better than James Hughes, who was being scouted and looked at a minute ago. And he's a bit more versatile as well. I guess as both would be emergency backups, we'll probably judge it on how much the fees are for both of them, which we'll have a look at in a minute. Alex Williams is now wanted by Dundee, which is fine, but you've got to pay the same percentage of the wages as the other clubs have offered. And at the moment, there's no sign of that. So if we don't get it, it's going to be Lincoln for you. No, I'm not letting you go for 10% of your wage. We've got Ola Aina on a free who has been recommended to us, but a 31 again. I feel like Solly March covers that experience duty. Player of the month, Reece Russell-Denny and Tyler Goodrum in the top 3. Goal of the month to Sonny Perkins, who's been brilliant. We'll look at the results in a minute. Second in the manager of the month after Ipswich. We're absolutely flying. 14 hours to go. Well, I think the Tyreek George offer is dead in the water because they're asking for the money, but they're also saying we've got to put him as a number 10. In no tactic do we play with that player. So unfortunately, it won't be him. James Hughes will be the one, if anyone. Stuart McKinstry has been linked with a move away again. We've had him before. What sort of wage do you want? No contribution. Well, that could be the solution. Let's just offer him and see what happens. Wonder if Tyler Diblin is still available there. He was rejecting us before and he did have other offers. No, he's gone out now. I think he went to Luton. He did. So we're not going to be getting him. 3 hours gone in a day. Maybe it'll be McKinstry again. Would be nice to have another familiar face back. Well, it's just got even easier because Alex Williams has agreed to go out on loan to Lincoln. And rather than bring in James Hughes, we're going to bring in Stuart McKinstry. So 4.5 grand a week off the wage bill there. And here, well, no contribution at all for a pretty good winger. Rosa signed a new deal on 1 grand a week. So hopefully now he'll be willing to accept a loan offer. We want him to be a regular starter wherever he goes. and we want most of the wages paid too. And we've got a few grand there. In fact, not even 1,000 because Harry Cornick has gone to Arbroath. Let's get through the rest of the day and meet our new boy because Stuart McKinstry is back again. Well, here he is, and this is the benefit of having one of the best affiliate deals in the country because Southampton's Youth Academy and their recruitment of young players is pretty good, and we are the big beneficiaries of that. McKinstry is not as good as the two wingers we've got in the club. He is certainly a good versatile backup with Solly March there as well. Gives us real options, so delighted to have him in. We have a look at his report. He's 25 now, and he's a good player, as you can see. Another versatile one to add to the squad. And now there's a loan offer for a striker from Manchester City who's worth £34 million. Now this guy could be interesting. Might force me to try and sell Jayden Danns because look at him. 3.5 ability, 5-star potential. Oh, he's not bad. He's not the quickest either. I'm not sure he's the best because 6'2" and his jumping reach isn't great. He probably doesn't fit our style. And I don't want to mess up the dynamics of the squad because they're in pretty good nick at the minute, we've got to be fair. And we've had a great start to the season. So I probably won't add that for the sake of it. Unless we get an offer for Jayden Danns, I don't think we'll be moving any strikers on. Well, the City centre-forward didn't matter because he's rejected us to go to Birmingham anyway. The side that won the title at our expense in League One a couple of years ago. But there's now an offer for a Spanish fullback from Fenerbahce called Bram Vink. I tell you what, our director of football's branching out here. He is 2.5 ability, not good enough. But I like that he's trying to use up the loan slots and make the squad stronger. We've got some good offers for Sean Rose, which we'll sift through and get the best ones for him and his development. And then hopefully we'll have a quiet end to the day, unless we get a big offer for Jayden Danns, which I wouldn't reject at this point. Well, the Vink loan offer came to nothing. We've loaned Sean Rose out. He chose Inverness Cali Thistle of his options, so he'll be playing now in the Scottish Championship and hopefully doing well. We've also got a loan offer for a centre-half from Spurs called Jan. He is unknown in terms of quality. He doesn't look the best in the air. Although his jumping reach is magnificent, but his heading's not great. Where has he played previously? In the very lower leagues of Spain. He's just signed for Spurs for $3 million. You'd imagine he's got a bit of talent, but probably won't join us. We did have an offer for Charlie Draycott as well, who's a good player, but didn't agree to terms. And again, they wanted him to play number 10. So with 5 hours to go, there's no interest still in most of these players. Looking like a quiet evening. Well, the Jan deal has fallen through, but with an hour to go, we get our final deal of the day done. They're disappointed that we've signed Harry Lynch, and actually the coaches say he's not got as much as the scouts, but he's signed for 27.5 grand. He's gone back on loan to Glenavon, and if he does improve to a 2.5 star, we'll make a profit on him regardless. So we can't register him for the squad because he's not here, is he? What a weird message to pop up. He is back on loan at Glenavon. It's a decent centre-half, and we'll see how he gets on. A little link back to our distillery save last year. We're helping build the nation in Northern Ireland. We're bringing good players in. And McKinstry has added to the first team today. This has ended up being probably a better transfer window than I imagined. I'll be honest with you, I was sitting with about a week to go in June. And I thought, we're going to go backwards next year. We're going to have a weaker squad. Now, we're the strongest we've ever been. And I'll be honest with you, I'm chasing the top 6. Let's see what the season preview says now. Yeah, look at that. We were second favourites going into the season. Now we're up at 17th, 18th. We're not far behind that mid-table pack. Even the media, who hate us, are starting to believe. Let's get through the inbox in the final 45 minutes. As James Hughes, we're not going to accept now. We've got McKinstry already. We don't need another. And we're really happy with what we've got in. Because overall, if you add Parker to this list, it is, 10 players in? One of them's gone back out on loan already. We signed those 4 on a free at the start of the window who have all gone out to get experience too. So 14 additions, 9 at senior level, and we're in really great shape. Through the final 45 minutes to review our transfer window before West Ham. Well, there goes the deadline in which we spent money this time, 750 grand, but have still been very sensible with our business. For the first time, though, we have taken a jump on the wage front. But I think when you look at this graphic compared to the rest of the league, it gives you an understanding of how well we're managing at the minute. We've got half the wage bill of Salford, who are the favourites to go down, having just come up. And although we've got players now, look, Santos is a tenth of our wage bill. We are progressing to that next level. And I know that this season, if we want to keep Danns and Kwanzaa and Parks, we're going to have to offer them sort of 5-figure salaries. But I want to keep it low. I want to wait until the stadium is expanded, see how much more we're bringing in per game. And hopefully this allows us to do so. We're in really good nick at the minute. The transfer window roundup is amazing because West Ham, who we're playing today, have spent 91 million this summer. They've not signed many players for massive fees, but then they're in the Championship and they've just spent 53 million on Jordan Teze, who is a good centre-half. He's not exceptional. But if they had a tycoon or something, how can they afford that? Landmarks. They have been taken over and floated on the stock exchange. They've moved to another new stadium, which is 85,000 in the Championship. Wow. That's insane. That's what we're up against today. And this is our humble squad where we've got one earner on over 8 or 9 grand a week. This is exceptional. Let's get through to the fixture. Look at the results we've had recently because we're in unbelievable nick. And I'm feeling pretty confident at the minute. Well, as we reach fitness test time, our top scorer has been past fit. Yes, he is our top scorer at the minute. Let's have a look at the results recently and how we've started this championship season. Because quite simply, it's been 5 wins out of 6. Yes, some of them against easier opposition. We got through 2 rounds of the cup before a disappointing defeat. And now the fixtures do calm down a little bit. So you were with me for the Ipswich game, which we won by 2-1 and played brilliantly, by the way. We then beat MK Dons by 3-1 in the cup. Dans, Perkins and Baggett with 1 apiece. Couple of injuries there for Hilton and Presley. We also got a debut for a young player, Nicky Morgan, off the bench in that one. We'll look at him in a minute. We beat Coventry 2-0 thanks to Tyler Goodrum and Alex Williams, who's now gone out on loan. We beat Luton 4-2, but don't be fooled, we were 4-0 up in this game. Dans, Morehouse, Kwanzaa and Anselm off the bench, his first goal. And then 2 goals back late on, Adama Traore, yes that one, and Elkan Baggett's own goal. A 4-1 win against Reading at home with Baggett scoring again. Hugill, Morehouse and Perkins 1 apiece. A really good performance yet again. A disappointing 3-2 at Fulham, but again, couple of players injured, couple fatigued. We did all right, but they won it in the 92nd minute. If it hadn't been for that, we'd be joint top after an unbeaten start. Goodrum and Perkins got the goals for us there before a 2-1 win against Bromley, a side we managed in last year's head coach in the Carabao Cup. Josh Craven scored the winner off the bench after Aaron Presley had equalised, and then a 2-0 win at Plymouth thanks to Hugill and Kwanzaa before a 1-0 defeat at Bolton Wanderers. A poor performance, not the greatest effort. Off the bench we did create chances, but not enough to win the game. And unfortunately, as a result of that, we're out of the cup. So now we go into a tougher run of games. This one followed by Borough and Birmingham away. But Ipswich, the side we beat on the opening day, they're absolutely flying with us there. They won every game in August. Bristol City are top unbeaten after 6. And a funny story about Rotherham. 6 points, 2 wins, 4 defeats, plus 5 goal difference. The 2 games they've won, they've scored 5 in both, and they've won them both 5-0. And then they've lost all of the other 4. A really weird outcome. But let's go and get through to the West Ham fixture as we get in to the first game of September. And we tried to make it 6 out of 7 against a very good side. I mean, look at their midfield. They've still got Kudus. They've still got Paqueta. They've still got Alvarez. Ronnie Edwards is there. It's a wonderful team. Let's see what team we can put out because it's going to be all changed from the cup. And we'll be back in a minute to run through our 11 that should be fully rested after midweek. Well, the good news, as we know, is that our super sub top scorer is available for the bench today. Not going to risk him too much after that. McKinstry is back on the bench for potentially his 2nd or 3rd debut now, will it be? Stephen Parks misses out after continuing his comeback in midweek, and Dan Cox not making the squad either. But the 11 in full is about as strong as we've ever named. We've got Daniel Rose between the sticks with Brookin and Ishmael at fullback. Got to give a shout out to Ishmael. He's come in for Parks due to injury at the start of this year. My word, is he delivering the boy. Parker and Kwanzaa, the 2 centre-halves, with Gudrun and Sam Ammo out wide. And Audrey Santos continues to build his fitness in the middle, with Reece Russell-Denny flying alongside him. Up front is Joe Hugill and Jayden Dans today. Dans has not had the best start to the season. Maybe it'll reduce his wage demands, who knows. I'm a bit gutted we didn't get that money for him still. But overall, we're in very good nick. And we go into this West Ham game full of confidence. On paper, the best side in the league will face. They didn't deliver it last year. Will they do so this time? Well, into the game we go, and West Ham have got the squad that they can drop players like Soonsup Bell, which is a worry for me. Their 11's exceptional. Ronnie Edwards and Edson Alvarez at the back. Neil Critchley in charge has done well since taking over. Their 50 million defender plays in there. And then we've mentioned Kudus, Paqueta, Alberto's class. They've got a great team. Let's prove a point. Let's do what we can. We still want to be front-footed. We still want to be aggressive. It's a bit weird that our capacity is only reduced by 700 when they've taken away the whole stand going alongside the pitch, but I'm sure that's just a visual glitch rather than something else. But as we go into the first half, we've been unbelievable so far at home this season. But the best team we've played are Fulham and we lost it, and this is probably the best team since then. 10 minutes gone, there's been no shots for either team. We're not dominating the ball, but we wouldn't expect to. We've got real quality in wide areas, and I'm hoping that we can create chances as the game goes on. Ipswich were the side in form throughout August. They're joint second with us. They're 2-0 down at home. I'm trying to look out for Bristol City as well, who are still 0-0. But this has been a really poor half. We've had 7 corners according to the stats, but no side creating anything. Virtually every game we've played so far has been thrilling, with goals galore at both ends and chances galore. Here it's been quiet, though Russell Denny has found Jayden Danns, and we want to end the half in style. Danns doesn't often score the spectacular ones, but he curls that just wide. Now we're at the other end, defending a corner. Vasquez in, Kwanzaa away, but only as far as Kudus. Back to Ronnie Edwards. That's what the best team in the league can do. Kudus, the 45 million Ajax man, sets it up. And Edwards, the Peterborough star in real life, is the man who has scored the goal. With half-time on the horizon, West Ham go 1-0 up. But it's the only shot on target. It's been a really poor game, and completely unlike the entertainment in every other one. So sorry I brought you back for the drab affair. We're 5 minutes into the second half. There's no real sign of creativity at the minute, and there's a few players that would normally be stars playing a bit poorly. So as we approach the hour mark, I think we're going to have to go for changes here. Let's just see out this highlight. Tolawar gets the ball to his centre-half. And I do remember last season at home to West Ham was our only really heavy defeat. We actually did better away from home at them. And it is a bit of a crime that they've not got promoted with those players in the team. They've gone 2-0 up now. We can make some subs, because this has not been a good day at the office. It is unfortunate, but Fulham and West Ham are the teams we would expect to beat us. If we can beat the rest and get in that playoff mix, I'm a happy man. As Alvarez gets the ball out to Kudus, and again, they're running rings for us in midfield. Kudus and Paqueta a bit too good for our championship midfield. Who would have thought it? Paqueta finds Alberto, through again. Oh, this is getting ugly. This is a hammering of the likes we've not seen for a while. Andre Santos is struggling. I'm going to bring Morehouse on for the legs. I'm going to take Tyler Goodrum off for McKinstry's second debut. I'm going to bring Anselm on the other side as well. We're going to give Aaron Presley a run for Joe Hugill. I'm not going to risk Perkins, who only just made it fit for this game, because at 3-0 down, there's nothing to chase. The final sub, I'm going to go Craven for Brooking. Looks like the uncertainty around his future just affecting his performance today. And in a game where West Ham haven't created that many openings, they've somehow beaten us by 3-0 at the moment. They've had 4 shots on target. They've got 1 expected goal, but every shot's gone in. It's one of those days, I'm afraid. And West Ham are now playing out from the back. Kudus has run the show. Danns nicks it off him this time, though. Presley finds him again. Can we at least get the goal? Lovely footwork from Jayden Danns. But he put it on his weaker side and he didn't have the finish. Lovely football again, though. It's not been a 3-0 game, but you've got to give West Ham credit for this performance. The first time we've seen a team with real clinical edge. But we are on the attack now with Russell Denny. Can we make it an interesting finish? Presley hits the post. They're the fine margins we're talking about today. Morehouse wins the ball in midfield and he'll carry it forward again. Can we create something else? Not like that. It's cleared away and I'm afraid that's the end of that attack. But we've now got the higher expected goals. This is not a reflection of the performance. It's just been one of those days. We've played really well. We've got 1.5 expected goals to 1 and we've lost 3-0. We're playing against players of real quality who can do that to us here. And unlike Fulham and West Ham, most sides don't have that. And I'm still confident we'll do well. A disappointing result, but not the worst performance you'll see. We're still 4 points ahead of West Ham. We've still got 5 wins out of 7. And the only 2 teams we've lost to are teams that started this save in the Premier League. I think we can be pretty happy with that effort. let's have a look at the schedule and see when we're going to be back. Because I know this run of games is a bit trickier with more away ones, with international breaks and all of that stuff. But I'm still confident that we can compete for these playoffs. So let's see what we've got. I mean, the next Premier League team is Crystal Palace. And that's coming up towards the end of October. Kind of wanted to leave it a little longer than that. But I think those two games are good because Hull are up in second as well. So I might do the final two games of October, Crystal Palace and Hull. And we'll see how we're getting on at that point, because after that, we've got a nice little run of fixtures with a lot of winnable games up until the festive period. So I think we're going to do that, Crystal Palace away and Hull at home. Palace, a side that are no stranger to us on this channel, having managed them in 2 different head coach saves. And Hull, of course, we had a brief stint at, a disastrous one on Twitch in FM23. So if you're looking forward to that, you did enjoy our transfer window, our deadline day, and a real clinical edge from our visitors today in West Ham, and please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know if you agree with me. Should we be worried about that performance? I think it was just a one-off. Fulham and West Ham have both scored 3 against us, shown a clinical edge. But the thing that I like about this year is every league game we've been the better side. And if we keep that up, I think we're going to be contenders for the top 6. If you want to stay up to date and find out if I'm right, or whether we have got something to worry about, then please do subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We'll be back in a couple of days' time with this one, but between now and then, the head coach returns tomorrow. We're heading towards a big end to the season in that one. Will we be able to meet our objectives? You can join me to find out. If you missed any of it, you can find the head coach playlist up in the eye above with the Twitch channel, the football podcast, and our recent guide to mentoring too. But thank you very much for watching. Your support as always is appreciated. And I'll see you back here next time for more big games with Southend.